Morning again. How are we? Slept like a baby last night, but even as I slept like a baby, I could hear the ding, 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 ding of messages, right? And surprisingly, there was the least amount of abuse I've had since I've been doing this, but a lot of questions. Are we turning the corner, right? Are we turning the corner? Now, the first thing, right, we need to understand here, I am talking about the light radiating from the sun, right, and the stars. I am not talking about the light radiating from man-made lasers, right? Now, it's a common question, right? Why do you think there's any difference between the light of a laser, a 3mm laser, and the light from the sun? Why do I think there is any difference? Think about that question that you're asking, right? We're talking about a 3mm man-made laser and a 1,390,000 kilometer diameter star. Why do I think there is a difference in between a 3mm man-made laser and a star with a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers? I think the question should answer itself, okay? Now, I am saying that the light radiating from the sun and all of the stars is absolute, okay? Not instantaneous, but it may as well be, right? With the speed that we're talking. I always compare it to the speed of our eyesight. If we go out and we look at the stars, you can, on a clear night, your eyesight is going bang, 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 bang. There's no limit, there's no restriction, there's no anything, right? It just goes to wherever the light sources are instantaneously. Absolute speed, right? Obviously, my eyesight has to travel, right? The light radiating from the stars has to travel, but it's hardly travel. It just is, right? They're there. It's almost like a frame of mind, it's so fast. You go out on a clear night and look up, and you can see whichever star you're focusing on, and your peripheral vision is picking out loads of other stuff. Now, that is absolute speed, right? It's something that you cannot time, right? Now, the light radiating from the sun, that is what we're talking here. Now, there are not many times, in fact, I've thought about this, right, pretty hard. There is no other time that you will ever get a chance to experience absolute light, right? The eclipse. Now, during a solar eclipse, we have the moon, right? And smack bang behind the moon, in that sweet spot moment, you have the sun, right? And now it's coming on the mirror. I'm gonna have to do this later. I've got a mirror out there. This is going to be a moon, and it's going to be going on to there. And I just want to show people that you cannot compare the sun's light with any other kind of light. And that sun is shining. Give me a second. Going. Right. Come on, son. Stay. Right. just going to go in again, isn't it? What I'm trying to show, see that dangling moon? Oh, this is going to be one of those things where I'm just going to have to do it when the sun comes out. Right, look, I'm not going to do that now. I'll do that again after, right? I'll do it separately. I just have to wait for the sun. The clouds are up there, so it's going to be one of those drop everything when the sun comes out. Now, what I'm saying is, when people say to me, why do you think, but what was yesterday? Somebody said to me, what if I told you that the protons coming out from a laser are exactly the same as the protons coming out from, or photons coming out from the sun? And I said, I'll probably say that you've got limited common sense and that you should really think about the things that you've been taught, because how can people honestly think, right, that the light radiating from a star is the same as the light radiating from one of these man-made objects, okay? Now, what I was saying is we do not ever get a better chance of seeing absolute light at work other than in an eclipse, because first of all, the sun, it's our closest star, right? And the moon is the only object between us and the sun that is going to cast a shadow, unless you've got a jet flying over ahead and it goes, you see that little flash, right? Now, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, right? I've done this time and time again, and I'm not sure what it is people can't see. When you're in that sweet spot, okay, you've got the moon right in front of the sun. You can see the sun behind. You can just see the outline, the corona. It looks like they've got the same diameter for that sweet spot moment. What part of when you're looking at this solar eclipse suggests to you, right, that the light that is hitting that moon is 8 minutes and 20 seconds old, right? Now this is the science, okay? It's telling you that, first of all, do they not say, when you look up at the sun, it is not there? It's a fact. This is what they say to people, right? You look up at the sun, it's taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the light radiating from that sun, Mickey Mouse or what, to reach us, right? Which means, as you're looking up at that sun, you're seeing an 8 minute and 20 second old image of the sun. It's really over there, okay? So you're looking at this, and what they're saying is that the sun that's behind the moon is actually already, because it goes that way, it does down where I see the eclipses from. Well, it would anyway, wouldn't it, right? So what they're saying is 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Now I work, because it's all about the rotation of planet Earth. It's not that the sun has moved, it's us rotating on our axis that gives the illusion of the sun and moon moving. They do move ever so slightly, but it's us with our rotation. Now I worked it out, it was just over 2 degrees, right? 8 minutes and 20 seconds is just over, if I remember rightly, just over 2 degrees of rotation on our axis. So when you're looking at the perfect sweet spot, right, of the solar eclipse when it's happening, what they're saying is that image of the sun behind the moon, that outline of the sun that you are seeing behind the moon, it isn't really happening, right? Because Earth has already rotated just over 2 degrees on its axis by the time we see that outline of the sun. It's so illogical. I'm going to say it again. It hurts, okay? How is it even possible, right? What you have here during a solar eclipse, right, in this perfect sweet spot moment, when you're looking up at the moon, right in front of the sun, what you're looking at is the moon right in front of the sun, because the light that is radiating from that sun is absolute, right? people say instantaneous, that isn't, it isn't a correct description, but it is, all right? There is obviously a time involved in the time from the sun's light leaving the sun to it arriving at our eyesight. But that time, look, forget about it. It's incomprehensibly fast, right? It's absolute light. So the only ever time that any of us will ever have a chance to witness what absolute light looks like, or at least give us a chance to think for ourselves, right? When you're looking at the sweet spot of a solar eclipse, that is the only time, because it's the closest star, and the moon, it's the only big enough worthwhile object to use as an observation between the sun and us, right, to see what's happening. So it's totally logical to think that when you look up at the sky, right, that the sun is 8 minutes and 20 seconds either that way, that way, that way, or that way. It's so illogical, I'm not sure how it passed the pub test, right? When you look up at that sun, you are seeing it exactly where it is, right? It's a fact. It's common sense. It's logical, right? These are the things. They have people believing or not believing what's actually in front of their very eyes. The same as the pyramids, right? There you have Giza alone, 6.5 million tons of not perfectly cut sandstone, limestone, and other stuff in it, right? But it's beyond comprehension to think that the Egyptians did it with copper hand tools. The end. Now, anybody who does go down that route, you're toying with the impossible and trying to make the impossible become possible, trying to make the illogical logical. It's not good for the brain. There comes a time when one has to say, do you know what? I don't think they did that, because it's logical, right? Common sense. Do not underestimate the common sense. I have not opened a physics book since I've been doing this. I lie. I have got a couple of books that I do. I go back and forth and think, oh, what a load of horseradish, right? Because nothing overrules common sense, right? All of 99% of what I'm doing, hey Maggie, it's common sense, right? But because you guys have been told that science doesn't care about your common sense, you've dropped it. You've let your guard up. And as soon as you let your guard up, all the other absurdities come in. No, don't worry about your common sense. Science doesn't do common sense. I beg your pardon? I think you'll find it does, right? So again, the only time that you'll ever get a chance to work these things out for yourself, right? It's that moment when there's a solar eclipse. There is no other time that you're going to be able to look directly up at the sun and have something in between you and the sun. That's the only time. We are all on a level playing field in that moment, right? And how on earth they get away with saying that the sun is not there? How on earth can anybody say the sun isn't behind the moon during a solar eclipse? What is that? Right? This is a thing. It's people have been so crammed full of absurdities that you're not doing a very good job at differentiating between what's actually happening, what's real, and what is BS, right? And believe you me, solar eclipse is a clear indication of absolute light. There is no other explanation, right? It ties in with logic and common sense. I know some of you don't like that, but it's a fact. How on earth? I mean, have you ever looked at the shadows, right? What I do, the shadows of the sun bouncing off of a mirror, right? If you put I'm going to do that. If the sun comes out today, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. It's laser-like precision. You can see all the tiny hairs on your arm. If you put it up against a board or something like that, It is precise. There's no blur, there's no nothing, right? It is like a high-powered laser, the sun that's radiating from the sun, the light that's radiating from the sun. It's not like one of these flashlights or anything else that we know, right? I mean, this has got a kick, right? This has got a really good kick, but it's nothing compared to the sun. The heat, you can feel the heat coming from the sun. It's allegedly 150 million kilometers away. You cannot be comparing man-made lasers, right? Or anything else to the power that is coming off of that star, right? And to think that you can, that's slightly on the wrong line of common sense again, isn't it? It's not very logical to think that anything down here comes even close to what's up there. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people making out they are a lot more intelligent than they really are, right? It's a fact. They don't know half of the stuff that they say they do about the sun. A solar probe orbiting or did a couple of laps, a distance of 4 point something sun diameters from the sun, and it's cooled down with a radiator and a gallon of water. Do people not go, hang on a minute, what? It's been up there for what, 7, 8 years? Right, it's done a Venus flyby and it did the sun thing, and it's gotten closer and closer over the years. And just recently, they reckon it was 4 point something sun diameters away from the sun. Give me a break. Nothing gets that close to the sun. Believe you me, nothing gets that close to the sun, right? Now, it's doing it again, but I'm going to do that separately after, just to show you what I mean about the intensity and the power. Nothing. I saw a little clip yesterday sometime where it says China have released a sun from somewhere. It's obviously rubbish, right? And you see the sun going up, like they released it from some factory, open the roof and up it goes, and they're saying it's like 5 times more powerful than what? This rubbish, right? People, you cannot believe this crap. This is what I'm saying about knowing how to differentiate between what's real and what isn't, and what is impossible and what isn't. China didn't make a sun that's 5 times as powerful as the one that we have in the sky. You don't make suns. All of this CERN and these labs and this, oh, we've managed to recreate the surface of the sun. No, you freaking haven't, because the surface of the sun, it's got a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers. People, you need to know where the bullshit is at. And I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Anybody who says that they've replicated the sun or they've replicated a black hole in some lab is full of it. It's obvious, right? But you need to step back from the absurdities and start seeing things for what they are. The light radiating from that star is absolute. You cannot time it and you cannot measure it, okay? It's a fact. It's a star. Oh, all right. The sun's coming out again. Look, I'm going to cut this short now. End this now. I just got up. I haven't even had a coffee yet, okay? It's not on. Right, so hopefully the sun will stay out and I will show you what I mean. You cannot be comparing. Those people that keep saying, well, what's the difference between the 3mm laser and the sunlight? It's all the same. Folks, it is not the same, okay? You can't be comparing a star to a 3mm laser. And that is what I was going to do yesterday, right? But I ended up skipping and I did the UY Scooty thing and worked showing you how as you increase in diameter, so does the power radiating from the sun, right? It's absolute. You can't time that stuff. You can't measure it. Guys, I'm looking at these things objectively, all right? So anyway, thanks for not abusing me overnight. I got up and it was quite good reading the messages this morning. All right, I will, as you know, be back very soon with some more good stuff. All right, peeps, talk after.